All right, ready to dive deep into AI. Today we're focusing on how it's learning to understand us, humans, and how we talk.
Decoding how machines grasp meaning, basically.
Exactly. We're looking at the work of Claire Cardie, a real trailblazer in natural language processing, or NLP.
A pioneer.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we're basing this deep dive on an essay about her on AIVIPs.org.
Great resource for anyone wanting to understand this stuff.
Totally agree. It's like our cheat sheet to understanding one of the minds shaping how AI works with language.
And not just processing words, but getting the actual meaning,
Right, like reading between the lines. And what's fascinating is that Cardie was into this idea back in the 80s and 90s.
Way before it was cool.
Right, when AI was mostly these clunky, rule-based systems.
Yeah, most researchers were all about those rules, but Cardie saw the potential of machine learning in NLP.
So she was ahead of the curve.
Big time. This foresight really set the stage for all her amazing work.
So while everyone else was focused on teaching computers grammar rules, she was thinking about how to make them learn language like we do.
Exactly. She was inspired by people like Noam Chomsky, the linguist.
Oh yeah, he's huge in understanding how language works.
Right, and it's like she took that understanding and combined it with the power of computers.
To create something totally new.
Exactly.
Okay, so she had this vision of AI that's not just processing words, but actually understanding what we mean. But how did she actually do that? What were some of her big breakthroughs?
Well, sentiment analysis is a big one. She's a rock star in that area.
Sentiment analysis. Remind me what that is again.
It's like, you know how you can tell if someone's happy or sad by how they talk?
Yeah.
Cardie basically taught AI to do that with text.
Wow.
Like read a tweet and know if someone's genuinely excited about a product or just being sarcastic.
That's huge for companies trying to understand what their customers think.
Absolutely. Huge for market research,
Yep.
social media, even understanding public opinion on politics.
All because of Cardie's work.
A lot of it, yeah.
It's like she gave AI emotional intelligence. But didn't she also do a lot of work in text classification?
Tons. And that's impacted the tools we use every day.
Like what?
Spam filters that keep your inbox clean. Or programs that summarize key points in those giant legal documents.
Time-saving stuff.
Exactly. All thanks to Cardie's work.
Okay, so she's clearly brilliant. But I gotta admit, I'm still a little fuzzy on how she actually bridged that gap between statistics and linguistics. Can you break that down a bit more?
Sure. Think of it like this. Cardie knew AI needed both the power of stats and a deep understanding of how language actually works.
Okay, so not just crunching numbers.
Right. One way she did this was through syntactic parsing. It's like teaching AI grammar, but on a way more complex level.
So instead of just memorizing rules, AI is learning to understand how words relate to each other in a sentence.
Exactly. Like we do. And that's key for communication because sometimes the meaning isn't just about the individual words, it's about how they fit together.
That makes sense. Like how the same words can mean different things depending on the order or context.
Exactly.
Speaking of context, one thing that really impressed me about Cardie's work is her focus on explainable AI. It seems like she's not just building AI systems that work, but ones that can actually explain how they reach their conclusions.
Huge deal, especially as AI gets used in big decisions like healthcare or legal stuff.
Yeah, high-stakes situations.
Exactly. Imagine an AI system helping doctors diagnose diseases. You'd want to know why it came to that conclusion, right?
Not just blindly trust it.
Right. Cardie's a huge proponent of AI that can explain itself, not just give answers. Transparency builds trust.
Makes sense. So how does she actually make AI explainable? Is that even possible?
One approach is designing models that can provide explanations we can understand. Like in sentiment analysis, her techniques can highlight the exact words or phrases that led the AI to say something's positive or negative.
So it's showing its work, not just giving a grade. Fascinating. Okay, we've talked a lot about the technical stuff, but I'm curious about the real-world impact. Where are we seeing Cardie's research in action?
Well, the legal field's a big one. Her work has led to tools that are changing how lawyers review documents.
Like, think of those mountains of paperwork they have to go through.
Exactly. AI systems can now sift through all that, find key info, even summarize complex legal arguments.
Game changer for lawyers, right?
Definitely. And it's not just efficiency. These tools could actually reduce bias in legal decisions by analyzing evidence more objectively.
Wow, so Cardie's work is actually making a real difference in the world.
Absolutely. From helping businesses understand their customers to streamlining the legal process, her impact is huge.
That's amazing. But what about the future? What's her vision for how AI will continue to evolve?
She's really focused on creating AI that's not just innovative, but also scalable and robust. Meaning, as AI is used in more and more areas, it needs to be able to handle different types of data, languages, even messy real-world information.
So AI that can adapt.
Right. Her vision is for AI that's not just powerful, but reliable and trustworthy.
Makes sense. But before we jump into the future, I want to go back to those early influences for a second. What were some of the things that shaped Cardie's path and made her such a pioneer in this field?
Well, her early interest in linguistics definitely played a role.
Linguistics.
Yeah, the study of language. She was exposed to groundbreaking ideas about how language works at a deep level.
And that understanding really informed her work in computational linguistics.
Absolutely. But it wasn't just theory. She was also really influenced by the rise of machine learning in the 80s and 90s.
That makes sense. Machine learning has become so central to AI.
It has. And Cardie was one of the first people to see how it could be applied to the challenges of natural language processing.
So she was a visionary.
Definitely. She recognized that machine learning could allow AI to learn and adapt in ways that traditional systems couldn't.
Okay, so we have linguistics and the rise of machine learning. Any other key influences?
Well, her own personality played a big part too. She's always been drawn to tough problems, the kind that require both technical skill and a deep understanding of human behavior.
So it's not just about building machines that can process language.
No, it's about building machines that can understand the nuances of human communication, the emotions, the intentions, the context.
And that drive to tackle those difficult problems led her to areas like sentiment analysis and explainable AI.
Exactly. Areas where the technical challenges are huge, but the potential payoffs are enormous.
It's like she's drawn to the areas where AI can have the biggest impact on our lives, both for better and for worse.
Right. And that's why she's been so vocal about the ethical side of AI development.
Because these technologies are powerful. They have the power to shape our world.
And she wants to make sure they're used responsibly for the benefit of all.
Okay, so linguistics, machine learning, a passion for solving tough problems, and a deep commitment to ethical AI.
It's a pretty impressive combination.
It is. It's helped shape her into the visionary leader she is today. But let's talk more about how her work is actually impacting our lives. We mentioned a few examples like sentiment analysis and AI helping lawyers review documents. But I'm sure there are many more ways her research is changing things.
Oh, absolutely. Her work has had a ripple effect across tons of industries, like customer service, for example.
Customer service.
Yeah, a lot of companies now use AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants to handle customer inquiries.
Right, those things that pop up when you visit a website.
Exactly. And a lot of those are powered by natural language processing algorithms, which allow them to understand and respond to customer requests in a more natural way.
Makes sense. So it's not just about answering questions. It's about understanding the customer and responding in a way that's helpful and maybe even a little bit human.
Exactly. And Cardie's research in sentiment analysis plays a big role in that. By understanding the emotional tone of a customer's message, the AI can tailor its response accordingly.
That's really interesting. It's like AI is learning to be empathetic. But what about other areas? Where else are we seeing Cardie's work being applied?
Well, healthcare is another big one.
Healthcare. How so?
Think about all the data in healthcare. Patient records, medical journals, research papers.
It's overwhelming.
It is. And AI-powered systems are now being used to analyze all that data, to identify potential risks, to help doctors make diagnoses, to even discover new drugs and therapies.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So Cardie's work is helping to revolutionize healthcare.
Absolutely. Her research in text classification has been instrumental in developing these systems, allowing them to extract key information from massive amounts of medical literature.
Amazing. It's like having an AI assistant that can read through all those medical journals and tell you what's important. Any other areas where her work is making a difference?
Oh yeah, education's another big one.
Education.
AI-powered learning platforms are being used to personalize learning experiences, provide tailored feedback, even identify students who might be struggling.
It's like having a personal tutor for every student.
That's the idea. And Cardie's work in natural language processing is essential for these systems to understand student responses, assess their comprehension, and provide personalized support.
Wow. So from healthcare to education to customer service, Cardie's work is having a huge impact.
And it's just the beginning. As AI continues to evolve, her research will undoubtedly continue to shape how we learn, work, and interact with the world around us.
It's truly inspiring to see how one person's work can have such a far-reaching impact. But let's talk more about what Cardie envisions for the future of AI. What are some of the key challenges that she believes AI researchers will need to address in the coming years? And how can her work help us navigate those challenges?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is making sure AI systems are robust and reliable, especially in the real world, which is full of surprises.
So it's not enough for AI to work well in a lab.
Right. It needs to be able to handle unexpected situations, noisy data, changing conditions.
And Cardie's emphasis on robustness and adaptability is crucial here.
Absolutely. Her work has shown us that we need to design AI systems that can roll with the punches, so to speak.
Makes sense. What other challenges do we need to think about?
Well, fairness is a big one. We need to make sure AI systems are fair and unbiased, even when they're trained on data that reflects existing societal biases.
Right, because we don't want AI to just perpetuate existing inequalities.
Exactly. And Cardie has been a leader in developing techniques to detect and mitigate bias in AI systems. She's shown us how important it is to carefully curate training data, to use diverse data sets, and to develop algorithms that are robust to bias.
So it's about being proactive, not just hoping for the best.
Exactly. And this proactive approach is essential for building trust in AI and ensuring that it's used ethically and responsibly.
Okay, robustness and fairness. What else?
Explainability. As AI systems get more complex, it becomes harder to understand how they make decisions.
And that's a problem, right?
It is, especially when those decisions have a big impact on our lives.
Yeah.
We need to be able to understand how AI is making decisions if we're going to trust it.
And this is where Cardie's work on explainable AI comes in.
Right. She's shown us that it's possible to build AI systems that can provide clear and understandable explanations for their decisions.
Even when those decisions are based on incredibly complex calculations.
Even then.
That's amazing.
No.
So robustness, fairness, and explainability. Those are three key challenges for AI researchers to tackle in the years to come. But what about the bigger picture? What are some of the broader implications of Cardie's work? What can we learn from her legacy as we navigate the future of AI?
Well, I think one of the most important things Cardie has shown us is that AI is not just a set of algorithms and data. It's a tool that can be used to address some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
So it's about using AI to make the world a better place, not just to automate tasks or make things more efficient.
Exactly. And her work has inspired so many others to follow in her footsteps, to use AI to improve healthcare, to revolutionize education, to even deepen our understanding of the human mind itself.
It's amazing to think about the ripple effect of her work, how she's sparked a movement to use AI for good.
And her legacy goes beyond specific applications. She's also shown us the importance of collaboration, bringing together researchers, policymakers, and industry leaders to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
So it's a team effort.
It has to be, and Cardie's unwavering commitment to ethical AI development is a model for all of us. It reminds us that we have a responsibility to make sure AI is used for the benefit of humanity, not to its detriment.
Okay, but before we dive into the future of AI and what it might hold, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about something that doesn't always get a lot of attention in discussions of AI.
What's that?
Creativity and imagination.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is. We tend to think of AI as this purely logical, analytical field. But creativity and imagination are just as important, don't you think?
I do. It's like the difference between just following a recipe and creating a whole new dish.
Exactly. And Cardie's work really embodies that creative spirit. She's not just applying existing algorithms. She's coming up with completely new ideas and approaches that challenge the status quo.
She's a real innovator, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Right. And that kind of thinking is what drives progress, not just in AI, but in any field.
Totally agree, especially in a field like AI, where we're constantly pushing the limits of what we know and what we can do.
So it's about being curious, being bold, being willing to ask, what if?
Exactly, and that's what allows us to build AI systems that are not just functional, but truly transformative.
Systems that can solve problems we never even thought possible before.
Absolutely, and that requires a shift in thinking, a willingness to embrace the unknown, and to explore the uncharted territories of AI.
It's about having the courage to imagine a future that's different, a future that's better.
And Cardie has shown us that it's possible. She's never been afraid to challenge conventional wisdom, to push the boundaries, to pursue research that others might think is too risky or too ambitious.
She's a true pioneer, leading the way and inspiring others to follow.
Exactly. And her success is a testament to the power of that creative spirit. It shows us that the biggest breakthroughs in AI often come from those who are willing to think differently, to challenge assumptions, to imagine a world that we can't even fully comprehend yet. But that's a conversation for our next part, I think, as we explore what that world might look like in the years to come. You're right. A whole world to explore. And last we talked about Claire Cardie. She's got that pioneer spirit, always pushing the limits in AI. It's not just about, making AI understand our words. It's about imagining what it could become.
Yeah, like she's inventing the rule book as she goes.
Yeah.
But as AI gets smarter, we need to make sure those rules keep it in check, right? I mean, the essay on AIVIPS.org, it really highlighted Cardie's focus on making sure humans stay in control of AI, especially as it gets more, independent.
Absolutely. Can't let it go all Terminator on us. Cardie's big on keeping humans in the driver's seat, especially for those systems that could have a huge impact on our lives.
Right, like an AI making medical diagnoses. You'd want a doctor involved, not just the machine. So it's not about fearing AI, it's about building in safeguards, right?
Exactly, like an emergency brake. And those safeguards need to be part of AI from the ground up, not just added on later.
Like build a house with a solid foundation first.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But this idea of human control, it makes me wonder, do we need the government to step in? Regulations to make sure AI is used ethically?
That's a tough one. Some people think strict rules are the only way to keep AI in check. Others worry it'll stifle innovation,
Yeah, too much red tape and progress slows down.
Yeah.
What does Cardie think?
Well, she seems to favor a collaborative approach. Get researchers, policymakers, and even the public involved in finding the right path.
Well, mans are better than one.
Right. You need the experts, but also the folks who will actually be impacted by these systems.
Makes sense. But where might regulations be really crucial? Any areas that stand out?
Well, autonomous weapon systems are a big one. Using AI to control weapons, that's some serious stuff. Even a tiny mistake could be catastrophic.
Yeah, that's not like a robot vacuum cleaner going haywire.
Yeah.
This is life or death. We need some global rules to prevent AI from turning into a weapon that could, escalate things.
Absolutely. Human values need to come first. And then there's AI-powered surveillance, like facial recognition tech. So much potential for misuse there.
Right, like in those sci-fi movies where everyone's being tracked. We need rules to make sure AI doesn't turn our world into a big brother state.
Definitely. It's about balance. Security is important, but so is freedom.
Okay, weapons and surveillance, big areas for potential regulation. But zooming out a bit, what about AI's impact on jobs? A lot of people are worried about robots taking over.
It's a real concern. As AI gets more capable, some jobs will likely be automated. But Cardie, and I tend to agree, sees it more as AI enhancing what humans can do.
Like AI taking care of those boring, repetitive tasks, so humans can focus on more creative, strategic stuff.
Exactly. But it'll require some big changes. We need to invest in education, retraining programs, make sure people have the skills they need to work alongside AI.
Right, because the game's changing. But everyone needs a chance to learn the new rules. But beyond jobs, where can AI actually help solve big problems? What are the areas with the most potential?
Oh, tons. Think about Cardie's work in healthcare. Imagine AI helping doctors create personalized treatments, based on your unique genes, or even discovering new drugs by analyzing mountains of research data.
Like AI is a superpowered medical detective.
Exactly. And in education, imagine AI tailoring learning to each student's needs, finding their strengths, weaknesses, learning style, and creating a personalized learning plan.
Wow, no more one-size-fits-all education.
Yeah.
It's like every kid gets their own personal tutor.
That's the idea. And it goes beyond healthcare and education. Climate change, sustainable energy, even space exploration. AI could help us tackle those huge challenges.
It's pretty mind-blowing to think about. But Cardie's also cautious. She's clear that we need to use this power responsibly.
Right, with human values and ethics at the forefront, always.
Okay, we've talked jobs, the economy, and the potential for AI to change the world. But let's go back to that idea of creativity and imagination in AI. How do we encourage that kind of outside-the-box thinking?
It's crucial. We need to see AI not just as a tool for automation, but as a platform for creativity.
So it's not just about coding. It's about fostering a culture where people feel free to experiment, to be curious, to play around with ideas.
Exactly. Encourage people to ask, what if? to challenge the status quo, to explore those uncharted territories of AI with a sense of wonder.
Like, what if AI could compose a symphony? What if it could design a building that's both beautiful and energy efficient?
Exactly. Those are the kinds of questions that spark innovation. And Cardie's a great example of that. She's always pushing the boundaries.
So it's not just about building AI that works, it's about building AI that inspires.
Right. AI that can solve problems we haven't even thought of yet.
AI that can help us imagine a future that's better than we ever thought possible.
Absolutely. And that requires a willingness to embrace the unknown, to take risks, to dream big.
And Cardie has shown us that it's worth it. She's a true pioneer, showing us what's possible when we combine technical skill with that boundless imagination.
Exactly. She's a reminder that the biggest breakthroughs often come from those who dare to think differently. But with all these new possibilities come new responsibilities. We need to think about the risks as well as the rewards and make sure AI is used for the benefit of all.
And speaking of benefits, let's talk about something that's crucial for any field to thrive, especially one as complex and impactful as AI collaboration.
Couldn't agree more. AI isn't a solo sport. It takes researchers, developers, policymakers, everyone working together to reach its full potential.
Like a giant puzzle where everyone has a piece.
Exactly. And Cardie has been a huge advocate for collaboration throughout her career, building bridges between academia, industry, government, bringing diverse perspectives to the table.
Like creating a network of innovators, a community of problem solvers.
Exactly, because navigating the ethical and societal implications of AI, that's not something one person or one company can do alone. It takes a collective effort, a willingness to share knowledge, resources, ideas.
It's about working together to build an AI future that benefits everyone.
Right. And that collaborative spirit is what will ultimately drive progress in AI, allowing us to create technology that benefits all of humanity and helps build a better future.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here in this part of our deep dive. The future of AI, the impact on jobs, the potential to solve global challenges, the need for ethics and responsibility, the importance of creativity and imagination, and the power of collaboration. But as we wrap up this part, what do you think is the biggest takeaway from Cardie's work? What's the message you hope people will remember long after they finish listening?
That's a good question. I think the core message is this. AI is powerful, but it needs to be used responsibly, ethically, for the benefit of all.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the values and intentions behind it.
Exactly. And Cardie's career is a great example of that. She's shown us we can build AI that's not just smart, but also ethical, transparent, accountable.
A powerful message, especially as AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives. But before we move on to the final part, there's one more aspect of Cardie's legacy we should touch on. Diversity and inclusion in the field of AI. Yeah, it's easy to get lost in the technical details, but AI is being built by people, and people come from all sorts of backgrounds.
Absolutely, and that diversity is key. If we want AI that benefits everyone, we need the people creating it to reflect, all of humanity.
Makes sense. And Cardie, she's been a champion for this, pushing for more diversity and inclusion in AI research.
Huge advocate for it, creating opportunities for people from underrepresented groups, making sure their voices are heard.
Right, because if it's just a small group of people designing AI, we might end up with AI that only works for a small group of people.
Exactly. And diversity isn't just about fairness. It's about making AI better. Different backgrounds, different cultures, different life experiences, that all leads to more creative solutions,
Like you're more likely to catch potential biases if you have a team with different perspectives.
Exactly. And you end up with AI that's more adaptable, more robust. It's like, imagine a team of chefs from all over the world collaborating on a dish.
You're going to get something way more interesting than if they all learned in the same kitchen.
Exactly. And Cardie's work in this area is so important. She's not just building technology, she's building a more inclusive AI community, one where everyone can contribute.
Really inspiring stuff.
Yeah.
So progress in AI isn't just about the algorithms. It's about creating a more diverse and welcoming community of researchers.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, I think we've done a pretty thorough deep dive here into the world of Claire Cardie, her amazing research, her vision for the future of AI, and her commitment to doing it all ethically and responsibly.
We've covered a lot of ground, from teaching AI to understand emotions in text to, building systems that can explain themselves.
And from the real-world impact of her work in areas like law and healthcare, to her focus on keeping humans in the loop and making sure AI benefits everyone.
It's clear her influence goes way beyond just the research lab.
Absolutely. She's a true pioneer, shaping not just the technology itself, but the culture and values that guide AI development.
We're a real role model for everyone in the field.
And for our listeners who want to learn more about Claire Cardie and her incredible work, definitely check out the essay on AIVIPS.org. It's fascinating stuff.
Great resource.
All right, we're at the end of our deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. As AI becomes more and more a part of our lives, how can we make sure it stays a force for good? A tool that helps us build a better future for everyone.
That's the million-dollar question. And there's no easy answer.
It's going to take a lot of thought, a lot of discussion, a willingness to challenge our assumptions about what AI can and should do.
And a lot of collaboration. We need everyone at the table. Researchers, policymakers, the public.
It's a challenge that's going to require the best of humanity, our creativity, our compassion, our wisdom.
But I'm optimistic. I think if we approach AI with the same spirit of innovation and responsibility that Claire Cardie has showed us, we can create a future where AI truly benefits everyone.
That's a great note to end on. So, to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing for an AI future that works for all of us. Until next time, keep diving deep.